Hey, Cam, how are you, darling? I've been reading this book. It is so cute. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I've been practicing my male voice, my country male voice. Yeah. Thank you for joining. Thank you for letting me read it. How was your day? You had a good day? I had to work today, so I work from home, so I'm sitting right here all day long. So I work for Little Debbie and I'm customer service rep, so I'm able to work from home. But I'm on the phone all day. Well, I've been on all day. Phone and emails. But yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Hey, Vincy Lou Who? You're late, sister. I need to put this over here. Erg. Nope, you're right on time. 8 o'clock. I was early today. I was early today. I was just telling Cam that I have been reading the book and I am loving it. Well, hey, Miss Lily, you snuck in there on me. That's what I get when I can't read. Can't see, can't read. Let me turn this down just a little bit. There we go. When I have bad posture when I'm reading, you can see me. Yay! Miss Lily's here. Uh-oh, Ori's in the house. Everybody watch out. Ori's in the house. Yeah, I was a little bit early. But I sat here and watched a 5-minute video on how to make some kind of strawberry cake. Like I'm going to make it. It says it only takes 5 minutes to make. And it did with the video, but they didn't count up all the cutting up to the strawberries or the bacon. And no, Ori is so good. It's so good. For those that don't know, Ori is also known in the book world as Nina, Courtright, PA. No, they didn't count for baking the cake, cooking the cake. Although bacon and a strawberry cake, that sounds pretty good. Sweet and savory. I could go for that. Kind of like bacon with pancakes. I love bacon with pancakes. If you've never heard me talk, I'm very southern, very country, and so if you're not from around here, you might have some issues understanding me. Some people do. So yeah, it's not a problem at all. I was trying to work on my Texas voice to see if I could get it to sound more like Texas than Georgia. But yeah, that wasn't working too well. Do you guys want the main deep voice or the really deep voice tonight? They put bacon in everything. I mean, there's bacon cupcakes out there. He does a lot of talking. I better go with the main deep voice. Even got a scraggly old man in it to read tonight. Oh, by the way, ladies, authoresses, I'm actually going to read 1 through 6. I think Nina messaged Sean or you guys or something. Anyways, it was a message about. Oh, I got the southern drawl, but I'm still not as bad as some of them. I know, Vincy. I'll try. Depends on what my throat wants to do. since the chapters are so short, it took me like 10 or 15 to read 1 through 6. It'll probably take me about 30-40 minutes to read it. So 45 tops. Speaking of, and I think I got rid of my clock. What did I do here? Woo. There we go. My clock. Okay. Oh, this book's good. Well, some of the chapters are only like 2 pages long. So, yeah. And then, according to Goodreads, it only takes a little over an hour to read it anyway. So, all righty, let's get started. So, has anyone seen this sweet little cover? In case you can't tell, looks like she's sitting in his lap or sitting on a counter or something. I haven't read it, so it looks like she might be sitting on a counter. So, there we go. Second Chance Cowboy by Miss Lily Wallis and Miss K.M. Keeton. And yeah. Ladies, how the hell did both of you end up writing motorcycle books and come up with this cowboy book and ain't got no motorcycle in it? I want to know, because this would be the queen of loving motorcycle books. Here's book 1, A Kaleidoscope of Desire series. Okay, Madison, chapter 1. Whoops, wait a minute, glasses, or I'll be stumbling all over myself. Man, that's just crazy. Jeez, crazy. Okay, chapter 1. Touring 12 houses in 2 days is much more than I bargained for. Honestly, I have a hard time keeping them apart at this point, but luckily my realtor, Kathy, has flyers for every single one. Shuffling through the papers as I wait for Kathy to lock up the last house, I find myself really drawn to house number 4. It's a bungalow style with a small yard, but the kitchen is every woman's dream. Luckily, I don't have a man to ask for any kind of approval. I'm recently divorced and I'm basically starting over. When I was 20, I married a man that couldn't have been further from my perfect match. What can I say? He was smooth, and before I knew it, I found myself living with him in Dallas. It was quite the bold move coming from a tiny town in Pennsylvania. Alex and I met online, and 6 months later, I took the plunge. It wasn't all bad. We had good times, but unfortunately, Alex had a wandering eye, and after the 5th fling, sister, you are a stronger person than I am. I finally grew a pair and initiated the divorce. He fought me tooth and nail not wanting to lose half of the bank account and properties, but we finally came to an agreement, leaving us both a fair share. Even with this comfortable nest egg, my life will never be as it was. Okay, Kathy says as she gets into the car. One more to go. As we make our way to the last house, we discuss some of the others. Kathy is a great saleswoman, so enthusiastic, her animated expressions doing most of the talking. Up until now, all of the houses we've toured have been in suburban neighborhoods similar to the one my ex-husband and I lived in. Dallas, Kathy comments. I still can't believe you're making a move from such a great city to this little town. Fresh start, I say. And I swear we have had this conversation at least 6 times in the last 2 days. I am ready for a quiet life. It can't get any quieter than the place we are going to see next. She smiles, handing me a piece of paper. It was put on the market about 6 months ago, and it is gorgeous. 6 months? I asked, looking over the paper. Why hasn't it sold? It's the location. Most people don't want to be in the middle of nowhere. They want the nightlife, the restaurants, the shopping. Kathy pauses. Well, at least as much as this small town has to offer. Right, I say, reading through the flyer. 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Two-story traditional home with a wraparound porch built in 1926 but recently renovated. Well, let's see what it looks like from the inside. I've always wanted a wraparound porch, and from the one picture in the top left corner, I can see myself sitting there with a cup of coffee overlooking. Well, I suppose I'm about to find out. Finally, arriving 20 minutes later, Kathy wasn't joking. It is in the middle of nowhere with only one other house nearby. Pulling up the long driveway, she parks in front and we get out of the car. What do you think? She asked, giving one of her big smiles. Beautiful, isn't it? Wow, I can't even find the words. It's perfect. Well, let me put in the code so we can take a look inside, Kathy says, walking up the steps. From experience, it always takes her a good 5 minutes to fiddle with the locks. So I take the time to walk around the side of the house and notice a man fixing part of a wooden fence separating the properties. Taking a closer look, this guy is hot as hell, donning cowboy boots, a hat, and jeans without a shirt. Biceps, abs, tan, the whole package. Well, I could definitely get used to that view. A few seconds later, he looks in my direction and notices me. Giving him a wave, his eyes make their way back to the fence as he continues to work. Well, that was a bit awkward. Heading back to the porch, I notice that Kathy must already be inside, so I'll walk up the steps to discover what awaits me. Oh my God, I comment, looking around the living area. I know, Kathy confirms. Not what you expected, right? You have a traditional look on the outside with modern flair on the inside. The best of both worlds, if you ask me. I agree. I love the gray on the walls along with the white trim. Wait until you see the kitchen, she grins. House number 4 will be out. Chapter 2, Dylan. Straightening up from my task, I take another look across to the Hitchens ranch and am pissed off. Damn city folk and their gritty mentality. I saw that fancy done-up girl waving her manicured hand at me and only wish she'd drive back from where she came. City folks need to know their place. And that place sure as shit ain't out here where real hard-working Americans make a living. With sweat, blood, and swearing. She'll probably try to make a movie about breaking one of those nails when she tried country living. No fucking thank you. Grabbing my tools from the ground, I start to track back to the house while trying to figure out what's next. Probably let the cows in from the field or check on irrigation to the crops. Both, I decide. One before the other, both need to be done. It's never done. The day turns into night quicker than the list of my duties end. Then I get up the next day with more than when I went to sleep. I've considered hiring more help, but with the drought last year, my wallet is tighter than a snake's grip on its prey. Another reason it burns me up to see someone over at that property. The year before last, I was talking to the owners about purchasing it. I had dreams of expanding, but then that damn drought. I put my money in that in. I put my money in that I got. I put more money in than I got out. I don't know what I was trying to read. This year, I'm going on my own and praying there'll be an actual spring. Otherwise, I'll be lucky to keep my farm. Hey, a voice syrupy sweet that grates on my hardened nerves has me stopping and glaring over my shoulder. Yeah, I say without bothering to turn. In fact, I keep walking. I'd like to ask you something if you don't mind. Mind. Busy. I let my screen door swing shut, closing the conversation for good if I'm lucky. Fuck. I curse under my breath as I realize I'd forgotten my shirt hanging on the post. I'd say leave it, but I left the damn gate key in the breast pocket. Setting down my tools, I wear a scowl as I push my screen open and stalk back towards the gates. She's still there, a small smile starting as if hopeful. My scowl deepens to the point it's hurting my face, but needing to drive the point. She opens her mouth and I shake my head as I grab my shirt. I already said I'm not interested. Unless she was looking for a good late night romp. Unless she was looking for a good late night romp. She has lips you'd love to watch do dirty things, pretty eyes that you'd be glad to have on you, pert breasts from what I could tell, and legs for days. I'd be dead if I can't admit it'd be fun, dirtying her up with my small town roughness. Anything else, I already said it. No fucking thank you. It's not like that, she gestures usually uselessly with her hands between us. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I wouldn't buy it if you were. Even if I wanted to, it ain't like I can afford it. Her brows scrunch together and her spine straightens. Do you know why the last owners left? I'm considering the house and wonder if it's something I've missed on the first walk through. Shrugging, I tell the first lie I can think of. Propane out here is damn expensive. They couldn't afford it in the 5 months of winter we get. By the look on her face, she knows I'm full of shit. I've lived in Texas for a while. There's only one real cold month, she replies. I've lived in Texas for a while. There's only one real cold month, she replies in a sassy tone. Could have fooled me. No, could have fooled me. There ain't an accent on this one to hear. It's different out here in the country. I bullshit. She hums out. I'll just ask the company for a record and see if I can afford these high prices. Well, she ain't stupid. Doesn't mean I'd welcome her, just means I'll avoid her even more if she decides to stay. You do that. I will. Thanks for your time. She starts to turn back to leave, but I want her to know that I'd like to what it'd be like to have me for a neighbor. I'm not someone you borrow a cup of sugar from, darling. I'd make you drive down the dirt road a mile and a half to the next house. If your water hole ran dry, I wouldn't let you use my cattle tub for your drinking water, and I sure as hell won't be the neighbor to come running if I hear you screaming cause a critter finding a home in there with you. Think on that before you sign any damn papers. Her face twists in disbelief and anger, I think, but as long as it did the job, I can't find it in me to care. Turning away from her, I jump into my truck and start again on my never ending list, not once thinking back about Miss Prissy. Well, almost. Madison, Chapter 3. What an arrogant asshole. I've come across many in my time, but Country Boy takes the cake. I just had a simple question, and it's not like I expected us to fall into a long conversation. Maybe he's the reason the house has been on the market for a while. If he's that unfriendly when first meeting someone, I sure as hell don't want to see him when he's upset. In any case, it doesn't matter. I don't have to talk to my neighbors, and the whole idea is to get away from everything. Meeting Kathy back at the car, she raves about every single detail this home harbors, and I take one last look at the truck that is almost out of view. Who knows? Maybe he had a bad day. If I end up buying this house, I'll make another attempt, and maybe we will at least end up neighborly. Back in Dallas, I am left with the choice of which direction my life will go. After a week of narrowing down the homes, I am left with two options. The two-bedroom bungalow in the middle of town, or the secluded piece of heaven that made my eyes grow larger with each room we toured. I can see myself sitting on that front porch, reading a good book and taking in the fresh air while enjoying a slower pace of life. Looking back and forth at the two flyers, I end up choosing seclusion. Sending Kathy a message that I would like to put in an offer, she responds immediately, letting me know to keep an eye on my inbox. Setting the phone back on the desk, I sit back in my chair, letting out a sigh. Welcome to the next chapter, Madison. It has to be better than the last. 1 month later, I'm ready. The movers just put the last of my belongings into the truck, and I stop at my apartment complex's office to return the key to the place I called home since my divorce. Getting into my car, I sync my phone to the radio, and now the road trip can begin. While driving, a million thoughts run through my mind, even though I told myself I wouldn't let it happen. Am I afraid of this new adventure? Yes. I've been living on my own for a little while now, though it was still in a familiar area, with friends, colleagues, and even the old woman that runs the deli on the corner near my job. My job. I really lucked out there. I've been a magazine editor for years, and luckily, I will be able to work from home. The company was gearing us in that direction anyway, since it was more cost efficient. I can't complain. The occasional trip to Dallas every now and then for training seems doable. A few hours later, I arrive at my new home, and Kathy is already there wearing a smile. Madison, welcome home! Yes, I say. I'm so ready. Great! I just have a few pieces of paperwork for you to sign, and then this beauty will be yours, she says as I follow her up the steps. And look at that, you already have a little visitor. Looking near the front door, I see a striped tabby cat meowing with the intention to come inside. Great. I'm not really a cat person. Maybe it belongs to the neighbor. I'm sure it does. Where else would it have come from? Once Kathy unlocks the door, the cat darts right in and runs up the stairs as if it knows the layout of the house. I guess I got myself a pet, I say as we make our way to the kitchen. Setting all her paperwork on the kitchen counter, she shuffles it around while answering a phone call. Walking around the kitchen, I come to the big window above the sink and take a look outside. God. Everything looks so calm and peaceful, almost like a page out of a storybook. I have it, Kathy chuckles, and I make my way over to sign the papers. Once I have initialed and signed the 28-page document, Kathy informs me that she will send a copy in the mail, and it should arrive within the next few days. Once she leaves, I don't have long to enjoy the silence in this home. The movers just arrived. About an hour and a half later, I'm signing more paperwork, including a survey for the movers. Starting in the kitchen, I unpack the first box and bingo, pots and pans. Now on to the next, and I find the canned soups. I know what I'll be having for dinner. About 40 minutes later, my kitchen has boxes, paper, and their contents scattered all over, and I decide to take a break. A cup of relaxation is exactly what I need right now before tackling the rest of the boxes. The alarm on the coffee maker begins to sound, and as I make my way there, my little visitor stops me halfway. Well, hello there. Do you have a name? I ask as if this little creature can give me an answer. Bending down, I pick it up, and immediately the purring begins. How can anyone say no to this little guy or girl? While still holding the cat, I pour myself some coffee and make my way inside to the porch. Sitting down on my bench, I put the cat down and lean back to listen to the sound of cows in the distance. Closing my eyes, I enjoy my hot beverage even if it's hot as hell outside. The sound of a dog barking forces my eyes open, and I see a big German shepherd running toward my house. Get back here! I hear a voice yell from a distance, and when my eyes fixate on where it's coming from, I'm not sure why I thought it could have been anyone but the unfriendly neighbor. One more stern command and the dog freezes, looking back at its owner. Should I wave? Should I say hello? I'm not even sure. Hell, I guess it's worth another try. Standing up, I walked toward the end rail of my porch and set the coffee cup down. My little visitor right behind me. Hi, I say with a smile. Oh, hell, I mutter. Oh, chapter 4, Dylan. Oh, hell, as if this day couldn't get worse. I'm proving otherwise. I ain't blind. I see her hoard of items follow her into that house. All that designer furniture that practical people wouldn't even glance at. Instead of watching the parade any longer than I had to, I took to the other side of my property. It's a good thing I did. Some type of vermin used some of the irrigation hose as a chew toy. It shouldn't have surprised me that the moment I get back to my house, there she is, and Ruger's making sure I have to head in her direction. I think we got off on the wrong foot. Sweetheart, both feet were wrong since the moment you stomped your way in here with heels. My eyes go to the cat on the porch across the way, its hair on end, hissing up a storm. Ruger whines beside me, vibrating with the need to chase. No wonder he shot over here like a bullet. Ajax knows how to push Rue's buttons just as my neighbor pushes mine. What's your problem? I point to Ajax, completely ignoring her. I already warned you. I don't do the knight in shining armor thing. If you want to be rid of him, that's all up to you. Don't worry. I figured that you're not all on my own, she huffs, scooping up the cat, and it seems to calm in her arms. That thing's probably got rabies. Don't be ridiculous. And for a second, she looks worried, looking down at him as if it would speak for itself. You don't have rabies, do you, kitty? His name's Ajax. The cat's ears perk up and its head twists in my direction like a little demon before letting out a meow. Stroking the hair on my chin, I continue. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. He's been away from the house for a while. No telling what mischief he's gotten himself into. She shifts her weight to a curvy hip, and damn it, for a second, I get stuck in the sway of it. It almost sounds like you care. I do, for my dog. She looks at Rue, her mouth tilting up a little in the corner, and I don't like that it pleases me. I got shit to do. I start to turn around, but she calls out again. What's your name? Why? You need a name to scream in your bed tonight? I smirk. I'm more clever than that. If I had that need, I would choose anyone else's above yours. Even so, you're the last person I would do that with. She sasses, her cheeks pinking, clearing her throat. Real or imagined. Fuck, if that didn't rub me the wrong way. I can at least admit I've imagined. Crossing my arms in front of my chest, I look straight at her. Then what do you care? That's how it is then. Once I have friends around here, it will be my mission to have the nickname stick. She says, her mouth turns down into a firm line. My mouth twists, but then as a thought forms, I smirk. Go right ahead, sweetheart. Let me be the first to introduce you to somebody. Introduce yourself, Rue. I flick a wrist and Ruger goes off like a shot towards my neighbor. I laugh at the look on her face as she backs away and struggles to keep Ajax in her grasp. When she finally lets go, he goes flying and it is out of sight as he scurries under the porch. She doesn't have enough time to move out of the way as Ruger takes a sharp turn to go after Ajax and knocks her down onto her cushy derriere. By the time she gets back up, I'm holding my side with the pain of my laughter. Yet it's ruined the moment I see tears gathering in her eyes. Fuck. Her hands balled up into fists. Her face tenses as I stand up straighter to ready myself for her words. But they never come. The tears fall, but soon after, she gives me her back, slamming the door behind her, leaving her coffee and her little demon under the porch to fend for himself. And yet, with not a word, she got what she was probably after, anyways, my shame. Whistling until I get Rue's attention, I decide I need to get far away from the feeling. Plus, I've got a damn irrigation line to repair. She made me waste 20 minutes that I could have been doing that, I say to myself to help my anger return. It doesn't work nearly as well as I'd like. Opening the door to the truck, he doesn't even need to be told to jump in. Thankfully, I'd already gathered and the supplies needed, so jumping in myself, we head out. It takes more than half the day to repair it since I only found one of the holes, and it took longer to find the rest before the line was flowing again. I'll have to find a way to lift it or another means to keep it out of harm's way. The solution was probably simple, but it wasn't the only thing that occupied my mind. When I'd gotten back to the house and I saw her sitting back on her porch, not bothering to look over, I thought to apologize. Instead, I would ruin myself inside for the night before I did more I could potentially regret. You guys liking it so far? Madison, chapter 5. Madison, maybe you should give the neighbor thing another shot. Well, any chance of that just went straight to hell. I don't think I've ever met anyone so horrible in my entire life. Rudeness is one thing, but sicking his dog after the cat and knocking me down in the process is really uncalled for. The asshole didn't even say sorry, and it took me about 20 minutes to coax the cat back out from under the porch. You don't look like an Ajax at all, I say as he rests on my lap. Hearing a truck in the distance, I look up and speak of the devil, there he is. Getting up, I grab the cat and make my way inside. I've had enough today and don't need any of his smart comments. What are we going to call you? I ask the cat as his big green eyes stare up at me. Well, first things first, you're going to the vet if you plan to stay here with me. I continue to unpack several boxes, putting things in their new place. I know I will probably end up rearranging everything about 50 times until I'm satisfied. Opening one of the smaller boxes, I realize it's the one filled with tons of pictures. Sitting on the porch, I take out a stack, and they happen to be of my wedding so many years ago. I was happy back then, probably because I didn't really know the guy. God, what a ceremony it was. His parents paid for everything from the reception to my wedding dress, which cost over $5,000. I was introduced to a world so foreign, one I never would have imagined for myself. But looking back, I can't complain. Money was never an issue, and his family was likable. Well, sort of. His parents were very standoffish, ready to help out financially if needed, but there was zero emotional support. When I first found out Alex was cheating, I went to his mom since mine was so far away. But her response was to pat my hand and say, "Don't worry, dear. Men have their needs." I was shocked until I found out that it was how the high society lived. The wives enjoyed the riches while the husband went out to play. The only reason I put up with it was because I truly wanted to make my marriage work. But after countless sessions of therapy and lonely nights with a bottle of wine, I said I was done. Setting that chapter of my life to the side, I grab the next stack and a smile comes over my lips. My childhood, the good old days. There aren't many pictures, but that is what makes the ones I have very special. My parents were quite a bit older when I was born, and I came as sort of a surprise. When I say older, my mom was 45 as dad turned 50 that year. God help me. Thank you, Jesus, for letting me have my hysterectomy. I truly was the apple of their eye, and they did the best they could. They were simple farmers, and my mom homeschooled me through middle school. It's when I started high school when things changed. I was introduced to different lifestyles, and I wanted to be a part of them. I think that's a big reason why I ran off and got married to someone I met online. What's that famous saying? Never regret anything in life, though I do have regrets. While in Dallas, I lost both of my parents within a year, and since I was so desperate to fix my marriage, I ended up selling the farm for way less than it was worth. Maybe it was my way of dealing with the loss. In my mind, I was never going back. Now here I am, sitting in my new home in a town that is just a bit bigger than the one I was raised in. Funny how life works. Pulling out the framed photo of my mom and dad, I get up and set it on the mantel above the fireplace. Bringing my fingers to my lips, I kiss them, placing them on the glass of the photo. I love you, Mom and Dad. The next morning, I'm woken by the cry of a rooster. And even though it's early, it's such a beautiful sound. Getting out of bed 10 minutes later, I grab my phone off the nightstand and check my email to see if I have anything from the office, and I don't. My boss said he would give me a few days to settle in before sending over the articles, and I suppose he meant it. After getting ready in the bathroom, I head downstairs, and my faithful follower is right behind me. Oh no, I don't have any cat food for you. Actually, I barely have anything for myself. He just stands there and meows at me with eyes full of hope. Maybe it would be a good idea to let him out while I run into town. One of you girls can explain the whole my eye roll with the rooster thing. He just stands there, meows at me with eyes full of hope. Maybe it would be a good idea to let him out while I run into town. I'm sure he's well versed in catching mice. I am so not set up for a cat, using a small box with shredded paper as a makeshift litter box, but hey, it worked. Come on, buddy, I say, opening the front door. Go catch your breakfast, but watch out for that damn dog. Once my coffee is finished, I go outside and sit on the front porch, enjoying the sound of the birds and rays of sunshine beautifying the field beside me. A few minutes later, I hear a door slam, and what do you know? The asshole is awake. Of course he is. He has a farm. Crouching down in my seat, I try to make myself invisible, but keep my eyes peered in his direction. Not even 5 seconds later, that damn dog of his starts to bark, looking my way. Turning my head, I pretend like I'm not bothered and scroll through my phone. As I finish my coffee, I get up to walk toward the door, and as I grab the handle, a huge spider crawls over my hand. Screaming, I throw the empty cup in one direction while I race down the stairs, flinging my hand frantically. If there is one thing I'm afraid of, it is spiders, no matter if I grew up in the country or not. Once I'm convinced that the creature probably fell off while I was still at the door, I place my hands on my hips, look up into the sky, and take a few deep breaths. It is then I realize that I am standing in front of my house wearing my bathrobe and one slipper since the other flew off while jumping around like a maniac. Placing my hand over my heart, I turn to make sure that the asshole didn't see me, and since the dog didn't go crazy, I'm sure I'm okay. Well, shit. There he is with the biggest damn grin on his face. What should I say? Well, shit. The way you were hollering around, I thought someone was about to snatch you up, he says, unable to keep from laughing. Wouldn't that make your day? I hiss back, attempting to go up the stairs with one slipper, tripping in the process. Careful, country ain't for everyone. It's not so much the country, but its inhabitants, I say, giving him a sassy attitude, leaving my slipper on the step, making my way to the door. got a fucking Cinderella next door, I reckon, he chuckles. And then when I rip the door open to go inside, but stop myself for one last comment, I must be in the wrong book then, because you sure as hell are no Prince Charming. Chapter 6, Dylan. My smile stays despite the door of our house rattling after the force of the slam. I reckon it'll stay all day long. Watching her flounce around like a moron was the best damn thing I'd watched since catching my bull's head stuck in a fence trying to get at a cow in heat. Not so much fun getting the horny bastard out, but it had been a sight to happen up on. That was for damn sure. The phone rings from inside my house, and I jog to grab it whilst I'm close. Hello? Hi, Dylan. It's Karen. I'm calling because your niece or nephew is asking for a favor. My sister Charms and I immediately groan. Ugh, Karen, I got so much shit to do. Can't you get Rick to do it? He's on a business trip. What about Ma? She's probably in town already. She's not. Don't you talk to anyone other than your dog and cows? You forgot the chickens. Whatever, smartass. Will you do us a favor or not? What is it? I grunt my agreement. There's a crib that needs building and a few boxes moved. Oh, and you go into and can you go into town and buy me something sweet from the bakery? I'm really wanting one of Julie's brownies. You know, the one with peanut butter swirls in it. Jesus, this is going to take me hours. If you quit your bitching, it'll be half the time. Hanging up on her, I walk out of the house with the sound of the phone ringing behind me. The little brat loves to twist all my knobs. She's had plenty of practice. I love her, but she can really be a bit much. Jumping in my truck, I start the drive into town. It's a good 15 down dirt roads and another 5 on paved. Though you can't beat the view of on your drive getting there. It's open, green with tall, willowy trees, and set on the horizon are peaks of hills that look like mountains. It's damn beautiful out here, and it never gets old. Living in a low-populated town is the best kind of living, if you ask me, including the downside of everyone knowing your business and knowing every bit of your past. It's a strong type of community to grow and live in. I've lived here most of my life, and now that I made my mistake of thinking of grander things, it's where I'll stay. Dylan, someone calls out. Hey, Joseph, how's the missus? Oh, getting into some type of trouble or another. She did ask after you and wants to know if you'd stop by one night. Will she make a pie? If you'll come, if you say you'll come. How about tonight? I think I've earned a break. Plus, I'm sure the rumor mill is turning, and that's what Trish, Joseph's wife, wants for me. We haven't had a new resident here in years. To most, it'll be bigger than the news of what happened at the last tractor tipping at the Hudson Ranch. I'll let her know. Tipping my hat in his direction. Whew, that hurt my throat. I'll walk towards the bakery. Julie's Bakery is the hub of action in town, so it's no surprise that I stopped several times for small chit-chat before I even hit the counter. Oh, my Lord, Mr. Dylan Michael Sanders, when is the last time you stepped foot in my shop? Julie asks as she rounds the counter to embrace me. She's at least a foot shorter than me with a nice round inviting face. Her body cushy as she presses herself into me. When she pulls back, it's with a smile meant just for me. At least that's the way she makes you feel. If I didn't have a mama, she'd be it. Sorry, ma'am, my time don't seem like my own since the last harvest. I could feel my cheeks pinking a bit as I answer. Her face falls for just an instant before she pats my cheeks. Don't you worry about that. All that matters is that you'll come back from it. Her bright smile is back. So, what can I get you? Karen wants one of your peanut butter brownies. Oh, no, no, no. She waves her hands about as she makes her way back to the other side of the counter. I already told her, that little scamp, she can't have any PB until the baby's born. I've got a caramel one. I'll grab her. How about you, hun? Nothing for me, thank you, ma'am. You ain't leaving till you grab something for yourself. You choose. You have a talent for picking what I like. I replied, knowing I ain't getting out of here unless I relent. Her cheeks are pink as she smiles, as her smile gets even bigger. You flatter her. All righty then. She looks down at the display window. For a moment, she seems to be deep in thought, even though she's made everything in the display counter. Oh, her eyes are bright. How about my hot or what chili sweets? That sounds perfect. I have no idea what they are, but I won't be arguing. How much do I owe you, Julie? Oh, hun, it's on the house. She waves the hand in my wallet. She waves away the hand in my wallet. Now, Miss Julie, I can't do that. Oh, yes, you can and you will. This is for the hard work you put in fixing my sink in the back. Julie, that was 2 years ago. It's time you let me pay for my sweets. Piss. She pushes the bag in my hands and shoos me away. Now get and tell that sweet sister of yours I said hello. I start to laugh as I agree to tell her and turn only to be stopped dead in my tracks. My neighbor stands there, hands clutching the strap of her purse, her mouth slightly open, eyes a little wide, and I wish to Jesus I was anywhere else but here. I'm going to read chapter 7 because it kind of wraps it up right there. And it makes you want to just set that hook. Madison, chapter 7. Great. I don't think my day could get any worse. Why does this moron have to be here right now? He doesn't look the type to indulge in sweets, though he is holding a bag. Maybe I should turn around and leave. No, I'm not giving him that satisfaction. By the look on his face, he was taken by surprise as well and now makes his way toward me. Ma'am, he says, tipping his hat. Oh, I guess we do have manners, don't we? I say in a bitchy tone. And that is the extent of the conversation between us before he's out of the shop. Rolling my eyes, I walk toward the counter, and that is when I realize that all eyes are on me and not in a kind fashion. Hello. Hello. I greet while the older woman gives me an obvious disapproving look. Howdy, she replies, looking as if she's quite bothered. Taking a quick glance around, I notice other people clearly talking about me, and that is when I start to feel uncomfortable. Smiling, I turn to leave when I'm stopped by another customer. Just a word of advice, friendly advice, he grins. You catch more bees with honey, sugar. Thanks, I reply. Excuse me. Finally, back outside, I sigh in relief. Yup, typical small town, and I'm the outsider here. Either the asshole is Mr. Popular, or they just aren't very open to new residents. Looking to the left, I met with the stupid grin of my neighbor. Didn't see anything you liked? No, I replied, my tone sharp. You best not be hurting Miss Julie's feelings now, he sobers. I honestly don't care to contribute to a place that makes someone feel so unwelcome, I replied. Well, you sure as hell contributed to buying that house. I open my mouth to speak, but then wonder why I am wasting my breath. Flashing him a fake smile, I walk in the direction of my car and leave. On my way home, I realize that I made a mistake moving here. How will I ever meet people? It's so tight-knit that there is no way to break through. I thought the bakery was bad, but the grocery store was even worse. Whatever happened to small-town hospitality? When I arrive home, I grab the grocery bags out of the trunk of my car, and before I take a step, I see a huge mess in my flower beds. Not even 10 seconds later, I see the culprit. What the hell was that dog's name again? Rover, Riley, Ruger. Yes, it was Ruger. Ruger! I shout, and he looks at me with his tongue hanging out and dirt all over his face. Bad dog! Well, that didn't work because now he's barking at me. At least his tail is wagging. Get, I say, pointing towards his house. Get now. Remember, she's from Philadelphia. She's not from the South. In the South, we're like, get out now. See, difference. After repeating myself about 10 times, this stupid animal just continues to bark at me, so I make my way inside. Setting my grocery bags on the kitchen counter, I hear scratching at the front door, and when I go to check, Ruger is pawing at the door. Go away, you stupid dog. After banging on it a few times, he seems to give up and leaves my property since I hear his bark in the distance. I may want to consider putting up a fence because this is the second time he's come into my yard, this time causing damage. Unpacking all the groceries, I take out the cat's new food dishes and set them up in the kitchen. Now that Ruger left, maybe he'll come back. Stepping outside, I call for him, and not even 5 seconds later, he appears from under the porch. Hey, buddy, I say, getting down on my knees. I know that dog scared you. Don't worry, now you can stay inside if you want. Taking another look at the torn up flower beds, I sigh and shake my head. All of the beautiful flowers are scattered around, and there is no way to salvage them. Walking down the steps, I begin to pick them up when I hear a truck pull up. A little home improvement? No, I say. Your damn dog tore up my flower beds. Nah, Rue wouldn't do that. Maybe it was that stupid cat you decided to make yours. Are you serious right now? A cat cannot do this kind of damage. Well, you've never seen Ajax in action, have you? Cats dig to piss and shit. I know it was your dog because he's covered in dirt and was on my property, I reply. You want me to send him over to apologize to you? Maybe bring some new flowers? No, keep that mutt off my property, I say, making my way up the stairs again. He's purebred, he yells after me. I don't care. I don't want to see him near my house. Next time, I'll call animal control. Oh, my buddy worked there. I can give you the number if you like, he grins. Of course. The asshole seems to have connections everywhere. I'm sure if I want to put up a fence, his dad will be the owner of the only fencing company in town. Geez, I left to get away from stress, but it seems I replaced it with a new sort. Standing at the window, I look out and see Ruger run up to him as he gets out of the truck. I stand there for just a bit longer and watch him take off his hat and shirt, tossing both into the bed of the truck, before grabbing a toolbox from the porch. Damn, he is really hot, but that attitude kills it for me. All right, that's all you're getting. Whoop, whoop. Now I can see what you girls have been talking about. Unless Sean's on here, then it's... Oh, there's Sean. I was just going to say, unless Sean's on here, and then it's... See? I love his book, but I had to set the hook right. So let me see what everybody's saying. Sean, why you post any links or prices and all that fun stuff since you're on here? Okay. I have to go back and read what everybody's saying so that I can... Fancy Ori K. Girls, did I do the right voice? Right on, Cowboy, Ori. Okay. Yeah, we were talking about the cowboy book instead of a motorcycle book. All right. Get ready, Vincey. Yes, it is in your home state, and it's not too far from your house, sister. Little ways, a couple hours. And the hand gestures depend on the part. That's a new thing I've recently added. No, girls, we're meeting at my house. Remember, I'm in the middle. The orgy's at my house, not at Vincey's. Vincey can just bring her toys. It's a great feeling to hear it. I know. I love to listen to you guys. Sometimes I can nail a character and sometimes I can't, but that's how I try to picture how they would be. Now, KM, you just got to let me read one of your biker books. You should hear me get into a good sex scene. I agree on the MC, y'all. Oh, God. Ronnie can kiss my ass. Yeah, and then I got 3 baby roosters and 3 baby hens. And I have 4 hens, maybe 5. One comes up missing every now and then she pops back up. See, Sean? Oh, you were perfect. Now, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can only read what is written. I didn't come up with the characters. I just bring them to life. All righty. Where at? How much? I know it's on KU. How much is it to buy if somebody wants to buy it? You never know who's going to be watching this after the fact. So we need all the details out there about this book. Typical time to read is an hour and 40 minutes. See you in the store. So $1.99 to buy it. 5 stars. Second Chance Cowboy by Lily Wallis and K.M. Keeton. Free MKU or $1.99 to buy. So tomorrow night, whoops, one page too early. I have Lady Killers by T.A. Mormon. It's a candy shop book. So Lady Killers be in the candy shops. Okay. All right, ladies. Thank you so much for letting me read it. I have enjoyed it, and I'm going to finish this up either tonight or tomorrow night because I'm finishing up another cowboy book right now. So I may leave this one for tomorrow night. But yep. All righty. So everybody have a good evening. And I look forward to Miss Lily. I look forward to your next book as usual. And Miss Keeton, I look forward to reading one of your books, one of your MC books. So just hit Nina up whenever you're ready. And I'm going to be reading his. Oh, isn't that? No, that's him. I have to look that one up. All righty. I will talk to you guys later. And you guys have a wonderful evening. And happy reading.